Hmm. Hey, man. You have a serious attitude problem. Oh, hey, welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. And this is going to be a rather raw episode today. I was going to watch a movie today. I was going to watch Little Mermaid, the animated one, but we might push that till tomorrow. I just got caught up with morning stuff here that just took my attentions. But with that being said, let's start off today's show by talking about that Joaquin Phoenix reveal as Napoleon. Joaquin Phoenix fans, unite. Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon revealed in new Apple ad. Now, we knew that he was going to be Napoleon in Ridley Scott's new movie called Napoleon. Yes, oddly enough, that's what it's called. So, is this going to be on Apple TV Plus then? Is that why it's on the Apple Vision Pro or something like that? Mixed reality? I don't know what the heck that is. Apple Vision Pro, the company's mixed reality headset, has revealed our first look at Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon. Let's just take a look. And it's just him walking forward. Wow, wasn't that insightful? Wasn't that worth it? I'm sure that there's probably going to be like a full-length trailer on YouTube pretty soon, probably, as Napoleon Bonaparte. I hate Twitter. Their video player sucks so bad. Let's try it again. Just a saunter. Okay, that's it. That's it. Joaquin Phoenix fans, what do you think about that? Napoleon, Ridley Scott fans, are you looking forward to this? Guys, that's just a tease. I'm sure there's going to be a trailer dropping soon. When they're ramping up marketing materials like this, then that's when you know that, there's going to be more. Additional footage of Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott's Napoleon was shown at Worldwide DC 23 event for Vision Pro. Okay, so they're really using this, to launch this Premiere Pro thing for Apple Plus or whatever the heck it's called. I don't even care because I'm not an Apple user. Are you an Apple user? Napoleon. I guess that warrants us looking over at the IMDb for this, right? Let's go over there. Napoleon. IMDb. And let's just take a look when this release date is. We've seen images of him before. It's Joaquin Phoenix. You know that even in Beau is Afraid, which was a god-awful movie, his performance was not the problem with that movie. The film is an original and personal look at Napoleon Bonaparte's origins. Oranges? What? And his swift, ruthless climb to emperor, viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. Expected November 22nd, 2023. So maybe we are a little bit off for having a first trailer, but we got our first look at Napoleon there, guys. What do you think about that? It's in popularity, it's trending down. Who else is in this movie? Vanessa Kirby is Empress Josephine. Anybody else of note that jumps off the page at me? Not really. Not really, man. I'm sure it's going to be full of talented people. Anyway, regardless, let's take a look at some additional photos that are up on IMDb for this Napoleon movie. That's some BTS stuff. All right. The gallows. There's some gallows there, guys. They're not there to get Mike Pence. Sorry, James. That's awfully. That's in poor taste. I can't believe you said that. If you watch U.S. politics, you'll know what that refers to. Yeah, we've seen this image before. This is like one of the very first images, right? He's up here on. This is him right here. Yeah, that was one of the first images revealed. All right, guys, November 22nd this year, Napoleon. What do you think? First glimpse. Yeah, they got to be ramping up marketing materials for this now. Chris Schober says, hey, how's it going? I'm going okay, except for a bug got me last night. I don't know if I was in sleep or whatever, but it got me right here right near the jugular. That's how I'm doing today. All right. What's next? Transformers Rise of the Beasts comes out this week, guys. Are you hyped? I'm hyped. I'm going to go see it Saturday. First showing, like around 11:30 a.m., I think, in the morning. I'm seeing Transformers. So the early reviews are starting to come out, and it's getting good reviews, which is good because the box office tracking for it has been a little bit lower, and hopefully it'll get a good word of mouth buzz so that people will come out of the theater saying, you got to go check out this Transformers. It's so much fun. It has so many Easter eggs to what we liked as kids. That's what I want to hear out of people's mouths coming out of the theater for straight out of the theater reactions. That's what I want to hear. So it looks like that's probably what we're going to be getting for early reviews for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. 7th installment is comfort food for fans. Good. The return after a 5-year break of the popular sci-fi. Yeah. The Maximals are in this one. Optimus Primal. And the trailers look good. So if you want to go up and take a look at all the big trades, they're publishing their reviews right now. So let's go over to the tomato meter and see what's over there. 67%. Well, only 33 reviews. That's about average. Guys, there's something been weird that's been going on. There's been a weird disconnect between critics and fans. Like even Super Mario was like around the 60s to open up. And look how much money that made. So there's been a weird ratio difference there. Like the critics have been much lower than the audience, because the audience that have been coming out of these movies lately have been enjoying it, like Fast 10 and Little Mermaid and stuff like that. But the critics numbers are way down, right? Well, I guess it is what it is. It's going to be one of those ones where the audience score will be like in the 90s probably. I hope so. Let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews from Variety. Variety says, it's got a relatable human story that works, and thanks to the script that actually has sustained bursts of dialogue, the robots felt more real to me as characters than they usually do. Well, that's good, because the Bayformers, was crass slapstick humor that, oh no, they've blown a Transformer. It's like, get out of here with that. Is that a little bit better? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Good. Let's take a look at a bad one here. From, who are we going to choose from a bad one? All right, let's choose this one. Rise of the Beasts is another generic story about an intergalactic menace from the sky. Carries all the plot, predictably, of a broken clock. Okay, so if you look at it too analytically, I'm getting from the story structure, then you won't like it. Oh, the film verdict there. Gives you some people to care about, sprinkled among the changing heavy machinery that remains the real star of the series. That's a weird mini review, snapshot review. I don't know if I like that, but they liked it. Alonzo there. The franchise is running in fumes. That's not very insightful. A typical popcorn fun of a blockbuster sequel. Again, that's not very insightful. That's the best he got for snapshot reviews. Let's take a look at a rather verbose one. Rise of the Beasts delivers on all accounts. The action is pulse-pounding. The summer movie season has been in full throttle for just over a month, and the Transformers Rise of the Beasts sends the popcorn blockbuster momentum into full gear. Again, all those words for pretty much exactly what this person said, but I'm still hyped for Transformers Rise of the Beasts that opens up this weekend. Guys, it's just 2 days. 2 days you get to go out and see Thursday night previews. You lucky sons of guns. You get to go out and see that. So, yeah, it's just a bit of a trade-off, guys. It is what it is for right now. For me, I can't go see Thursday night previews. Maybe for, I don't know, a couple months. in the fall, I'll go back to that old schedule, and that's what I'll do. Why not? 67% for Rise of the Beasts. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and we'll talk about it. Chris Shower says, I thought the new Transformers Rise of the Beast would have more ratings and on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. Well, it's still early. Like it's Tuesday. Usually we don't do the preview glance until Wednesdays, but I guess the embargo did drop, so it's kind of like the reviews are coming out now. We're just trying to make sense of it. It's only 11 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, so we'll work with it like that. Okay, guys, I don't know who the heck keeps on sending me messages. Here we go. This is a topic that is going to get a lot of people, because I'm going to say some stuff here that maybe, yeah, it's going to put some people off, and it's going to appear, I'll dance around some of the stuff here. Okay. This is worth talking about. The Little Mermaid box office in China and South Korea is doused after racist backlash. Now, this title, this headline is a little bit, I don't know if it's misleading, but I can't say that it's not. Also, if I said that it was inaccurate, or what if I said it was somewhat accurate, then I guess I would be saying that I'm also racist by saying that it is accurate. I don't know. I'm not going to weigh in if it's a good or bad thing, but the spin on this is obviously they're trying to say that people in China and South Korea, they don't like the Little Mermaid because I guess they don't like Halle Bailey as Ariel. That's what this article is trying to say. Now, we looked at the box office numbers for Little Mermaid yesterday, and it's not doing well. It's probably going to struggle to break even. It's still got one more big market to open up in, and that's the Japanese market. People try to refer to it as other Disney releases. You shouldn't be comparing it to other Disney releases, saying, well, Aladdin did well in Japan, well, so should Little Mermaid. No. You got to look at it in its separate case by case scenario here. It's obvious that it's not resonating in the Chinese and South Korea backlash. Guys, the original movie was 1 hour and 20 minutes. This one's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So they have added stuff. I don't know what that is because I haven't watched the original yet. Tomorrow, I think that settles it. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be watching here on the channel, a Grumpy Man reacts to the original Little Mermaid, so I can get a little bit of a more understanding and context to maybe why some people are not having it, right? I thought Little Mermaid was one of my more favorite movies of May, and it's still going to be like a very fun, memorable experience for me in the theater this year. I had lots of fun with it. There was countless times, and there was where I was like, oh God, here we go again. But then they did something in the scene that made me transform and go, wow, I'm really enjoying this. I like this. I'm not going to, like some people say, oh, it's dark. Yeah, I agree with that. We saw that in the trailers. Oh, the fish doesn't look good. Oh, that crab can't talk underwater. It's like, get out of here if that's your criticism for not liking the movie. You're really, then I'm calling you out. You're really looking for nitpicks to overrule the context of what the story is trying to drive. And that may be narrow-sided of me to say, because I've let nitpicks of other stories ruin it for me as well. But I've also had problems with the stories in those cases. Like I would, well, I'm still going to go see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, even though I hate the animation. I detest it. I loathe it. I don't want to see that kind of animation ever. But I'm still going to go watch it. And I'll rate the movie based on the merits of the story. So it's kind of like, I look at movies kind of like that. And if you don't like the fact that she looks the way that she is, I can't tell you if this article backs up any of the claim of the headline. Like, where are you getting this? Where are you getting this supposition, right? What data are you getting to back up that headline? I mean, it doesn't paint China or South Korea in very great light, proclaiming that in your headline. Yes, there are people out there, regardless of what they try to say otherwise, they've made lots of videos out there about, it shouldn't be Halle Bailey playing it because that doesn't look like Ariel. And then they'll come, like in the first preface, they'll preface the video saying, I'm not a racist, I'm not a bigot. But you're sitting there making videos about the color of her skin. And you're saying that you're not a bigot. Seriously, guys. Do you not see the disconnect there? Anyway, I'm ranting a little bit. And it's just because it upsets me when there's a certain level of... there's a cloaked racism there, right? And it's cloaked in things like, oh, the picture was too dark. Oh, I don't want to see it because it's, it's cloaked in wording and phrasing. And I don't know about China and South Korea. As I said, all I primarily care about is the box office, and I know that it hasn't performed in China or South Korea. It's still opening up in Japan this week, which could add another 100 million. It could. I don't think that it is having to do with her skin, because I'll tell you this: Avatar, Zoe Saldana, is a person of color. Although granted that her character is blue, but they don't seem to have an issue with that. So I don't understand why why this headline would have to say that they would have an issue with her. And she was fantastic. She was awesome as Ariel, and I'll champion her, and I'll want to look forward to more work from Halle Bailey in the future. So there. I said my piece about The Little Mermaid. What do you guys think about that headline? Let me know in the comments below. Captain America 4 gets a title change. Seriously? Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Now there was Movie Web, because apparently their page is completely frozen in on me. Captain America 4 gets a title change. New behind-the-scenes image reveals Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie. Well, Harrison Ford's going to be the new Thunderbolt Ross, right? Because he took over the job. So what's the new title going to be called? Brave New World. Brave New World. Okay. Now, guys, I don't know if this is substantial or not. And if it does change, most people are still going to call it Captain America 4. A little look at Anthony Mackie's new suit there. Very Captain America-ish. And I'm glad they got rid of those little side things that go on the side of his head, because that just looked awful. It looked awful. It looked uncomfortable. It didn't look practical. Captain America, Brave New World. Now, that could be just a working title, but whatever. If they keep it, they keep it. I don't think most people care about the subtitle of it. They're just wanting to see Captain America. It also looks like Harrison Ford's not going to be wearing the soup strainer like William Hurt did, right? For this Thunderbolt Ross, it looks like he's going to be clean shaven, unless they glue one on. You remember those terrible shots of like Obi-Wan with the glued on hair? It was like, that looked awful. No, don't do that. Yeah, they'll just say that he shaved it off. New World Order, Brave New World. Not a huge significant difference if that is indeed the case, that it got changed. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. May 3rd, 2024. It's still a year away. Yeah. Oh, God, that looks like... It just looks so, God, uncomfortable. Anthony Mackie in that thing. It's just kind of like, well, why do I have this white stuff here? Why this like, yeah. Anyway, I've ragged on about that. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Zack Snyder is coming out with Rebel Moon Part 1 and 2 on Netflix, and apparently for the first part, there's going to be 2 cuts of the film that you'll be able to toggle in between. Zack Snyder's 2 Rebel Moon movies are getting 2 cuts each. One will be like a PG friendly, anyone can enjoy it, and then there's a second, more adult themed, that's explicit for adults only. Now I'm guessing the adults only is not going to be like, X rated. It's going to be a lot more F-bombs and maybe flashes of brief nudity. That's about it. We've seen snippets of this Rebel Moon. I'm looking forward to it because of Sofia Boutella, mostly. And you know that Zack Snyder's going to photograph her awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. Rebel Moon. It's getting 2 separate cuts. I think for fans of mine, Snyder says, quote, people who are ready to take a deeper, harder dive, that'll be fun for them. So, okay. Rebel Moon has 1 movie, but Netflix became hesitant after Snyder delivered a 172-page draft. At that length, it would have been clocked at 3 hours, so they split it into 2. Yeah, we know that. So Snyder's wife is producing. That's pretty much all you need to know from this headline. December 22nd is when this comes out on Netflix. We will be doing a full live watch-along. We'll probably have to watch along, depending on what it's rated for. We'll know that closer to the release. Like if there's graphic nudity in there and stuff, doing a live stream reaction to it is a little bit tougher. So we may have to do the anyone can enjoy version of it. Yeah, and he's no stranger to this. I mean, Watchmen had different cuts. B versus S had different cuts. And of course, Justice League, right? The Snyder cut is the only... For me, the Snyder cut is the only way that you can watch the Justice League movie. That once you watch the Snyder cut, you watch like the Joss Whedon theatrical cut, and you're like, God, guys, how could you possibly think that the theatrical cut is a better iteration of that film? It's like, okay, fine. You don't like the length of the Snyder cut. There's a lot that you can cut down. Like Snyder really embellished with establishing shots for scenes that could have easily been trimmed out. Like instead of like a long tracking shot into the bathroom of Lois Lane taking a bath, cogitating about stuff, you just cut to her in the bathtub. And those seconds, those like 5 seconds in lead up into those scenes, they cut out a lot of time. Like if you go online, and YouTube has this, where you look at like the comparisons of the Snyder cut versus the theatrical cut of Justice League, they've tightened up so much in it, and it feels faster. It just delivers in a different pace, but that changes the tone of the film. I understand that, but for all the other scenes and the way that the film was put together, the Snyder cut for Justice League is just it's a far superior film. Anyway, I'm ranting about Snyder and giving praise, so there you go. What do you think about the 2 different cuts for the Rebel Moon? Looking forward to that. Mark Hamill. This broke like over the weekend, and I didn't really want to talk about this, but it's because it's really not that much. Mark Hamill doesn't think Star Wars needs Luke Skywalker anymore. Well, I think it's because he's just become a little bit disenchanted with what happened with the sequel trilogy. I mean, he's been even from like the first day guys on the set. He's like, Luke Skywalker wouldn't behave like this. He's a Jedi. He's a Master Jedi. Master Jedis don't do what he did in The Last Jedi. But he went through it. He delivered his performance. I think he's just become so disenchanted with it, but he also is looking at his age too, right? So he says, quote, talking about appearing in any more series. You never say never. I just don't see any reason to play him again. Let me put it in that way. I mean, they have so many stories to tell. They don't need Luke anymore. Well, I would love it if he showed up in the Dave Filoni spin-off movie that's supposed to wrap up Ahsoka and Mandalorian with Thrawn. Like if he showed up in there, that would be great. And as I said, when we first talked about that story, if they broke in and said that this version of Luke that we saw in The Last Jedi was not the Luke Skywalker that we knew from Mandalorian, where he's training Grogu and stuff, that this Luke Skywalker is the Luke. Because if they're transforming heir to the Empire, then you can say that that was Luke, not Luke Skywalker. This Luke that appeared in The Last Jedi was just, he was the clone one. He was the one that started to lose his marbles a little bit. That would explain so much, and I think that would actually that would make it okay for the fans to accept The Last Jedi for what it is. Then the fact that Rian Johnson had no idea what the heck he was doing with the Star Wars franchise to begin with. There you go. Yes, I had to throw that in there. Yeah. So some people have taken this and just run with this. They've made countless videos over this, and people, Star Wars fans, have attached to it and meant that, oh no, there's no more Luke Skywalker. No, he didn't say not necessarily. He started off prefacing it saying, never say never. So there you go. That's one of the reasons why I didn't really think that much of it. It came, it went, and now I talked about it. And now we can move on, right? Let's move on. The Boogeyman came out last week, and you know how I thought about that. It was not that good. In fact, it sucked. So there we go. The Boogeyman director, though, Rob Savage, wants to make a new adaptation of Stephen King's Langoliers. Well, they're always farming Stephen King stuff, and from what I've known of what people told me about the short story of the Boogeyman, they didn't really do a good job adapting it. Like the short story takes place all inside like in the psychiatrist's room, where the David Dastmalchian character comes in and talks about the Boogeyman killing his kids and stuff, and then that's like, yeah, that part was there, but then there was a big part towards the end that they didn't adapt into the movie. So I don't know. Rob Savage, and my major criticism about the Boogeyman was that it just wasn't directed all that well. The story, the execution of the story was awful. And if he's going to adapt a longer take, like Langoliers was a longer movie. It was like 4 hours, right? It was a 2-part miniseries. I think he needs a little bit more experience under his belt. This Rob Savage, he has done stuff, but it's kind of like I haven't seen anything from him yet that makes me jump off the page and say, okay, give this guy a big responsibility. He's directed his small stuff, Host, Dashcam, Boogeyman. He's starting to build it up, but Boogeyman didn't land for me, and it sucks because I really wanted to like that film, and I do like the Langoliers story. I do. If I had my picks of Stephen King properties to adapt myself, Langoliers would be one of the top ones that I would want to adapt, because it's just, I like the mystery behind it. Kind of like you wake up on a plane ride and all the passengers are gone, and it's like, what the heck is going on here, right? Now, it is a little bit far-fetched that the plane went through an aurora borealis and whatever, and that made them shift back in time. But it's kind of like, I like the concept of it. What the heck's going on? Are we in danger? There doesn't seem to be any contact on the ground. It is a horrific situation. And then the fact that we're in a time now that we could maybe do some justice to the Langoliers, what they look like, because the Langoliers on the TV show, on the TV series, that was back when CGI was just in its infancy, and it looked awful. There's no getting around it. It looked absolutely terrible. And yeah, as you guys can see here, the shading, they just didn't have any depth of scope. Yeah, that's what you saw. And the teeth would be like rotating around there. Like they could update that now and make that look somewhat better. Like it would look like Reptile from the first Mortal Kombat. Like, yeah, that's a tooth, but there's no, like they just didn't. The computers just couldn't generate the image quality, but they could they'll be able to upgrade that now and make that look a little bit better. And I would add a few things to them that would make them a little bit more, far more creepy, and a lot more disturbing too, because the whole concept of them is it's cool. I dig it. But Rob Savage says he wants to do it. Who knows if he'll ever get a chance to do it? I don't know if he should, because as I said, well, I've got some reservations. Oh, yeah, there's that picture there. But those are just my thoughts. Beetlejuice 2. Beetlejuice 2. We know it's full underway. Beetlejuice 2, Michael Keaton is having a lot of fun working on the long-awaited sequel. Well, that's good news. Yeah, I've seen quotes where Michael Keaton has come out and said that we're making it the same way that we made the first one with Tim Burton. It's just going to be a blast to see him get back into that makeup and just let him go, right? Just let Michael Keaton improvise on set and create all these weird mannerisms. Let him use his face. Yeah, use CGI to augment some of the weird, scary faces, but let him use his face to do a lot of the emoting and stuff, right? Keaton said, let me just pause this commercial here. Keaton says, Beetlejuice is the most effing fun you can have working. It's so fun. It's so great. You know what it is? We're doing it exactly like the first movie. There's a woman in the great waiting room for the afterlife, literally with a fishing line. I just want to know this because I love it. Tugged on all the tail of the cat to make it move. Oh, okay. So it sounds like there's gonna be some practical sets, practical makeup effects in there as well, which he's feeding off of, which is good too. Saying that it's a lot of fun, and I hope that fun translates to the big screen. I do. Quote, to be done as close to the way we made it the first time, making stuff up, making stuff happen, improvising and riffing. Yeah, exactly. Can they do that now though with the writer's strike going on? But literally handmade stuff, like people creating things with their hands and building something. Yeah, okay. Like the costumes and stuff like that too. So that's good. Keaton is having the most fun I've worked in a movie in how long? Okay, good. Winona Ryder is going to be back in this one, so that's a good quote. That gives me that gives me a little bit hype for Beetlejuice 2. What do you think about that? Yeah, the dancing around and stuff. I don't know about like using the improvisation and stuff. I don't know if are they allowed to do that. Because I thought for Deadpool 3 they can't. Maybe some of it. You know what? This improvisation shouldn't count as writing. It shouldn't. Because you're on set. You're not sitting down and writing a line and then saying, okay, now go out and say it. You're just on set and you say, instead of saying, I want a hot dog, you say, I want a big foot-long hot dog. That's not writing. That's improvising, right? That shouldn't count. It shouldn't. But in some, maybe it has to do with the contracts and clauses and the way things are worded. I just and in the writer's strike rules that we'll talk about in just a little bit. I don't know. Let's talk about a Halloween story, an actual one. Halloween Ends. Co-writer Danny McBride says fans had valid criticism. Yeah, Halloween Ends was god awful. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that movie. In fact, I don't even know what the heck they were thinking with the Halloween Kills. Evil ends tonight. Or evil dies tonight. Oh, get out of here. So Danny McBride, co-wrote those. So, yeah. one of the most disappointing films of the year for me last year was Halloween Ends. McBride told us, U.S. Weekly, quote, "I'm a massive Halloween fan as well, so you just want to give something that would make the fans excited and not make the fans angry with you. Well, then make it about Michael Myers, not about some dude. For crying out loud." It was fun to try to pull that off for better or worse, and to meet John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. It was kind of surreal to be participating and furthering that story. It was awesome. About the criticism, he says, "I think that it is a valid criticism. All three movies was Green's sort of brainchild. He had a very distinct idea of what he wanted to do with this, and I just felt lucky he brought me along with the ride, blah, 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 blah. And when he pitched focusing on the Corey character, I thought that this was cool. I thought it was a smart take on it." Well, you thought that, but it was a very wrong take. "I thought that it was a way to avoid repetition and sort of explore something a little different and still trying to be a Halloween ultimately." That's just no. Because you set up in the first one, it was going to be about Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael Myers in one final big showdown, and it was kind of shoehorned in at the end of the third. Like this whole scene was shoehorned in, and that's not what you wanted to have happen. That's not what you wanted to have happen, but that's what happened when you focused it more on Corey. And I agree that it is an interesting take. I just wouldn't have made it a Michael Myers story. I wouldn't have made it and especially I would not have made it a story to cap off, to end that trilogy, because that's not what the first two films were about. And when you think about, you got to think about a trilogy just like the 3-act structure. The first movie sets up things, lets you know who all the characters are, lets you know what the situation potentially could be, forecasting like the big showdown in the third one. Like just a brief little reference to it. The second one goes on to throw in, trials and tribulations, throws in a big climax where it's like a cliffhanger, kind of something really bad happens, and then the third one wraps that all up. It's all action. Not introducing new characters that were never there in the first two. It's like, what the heck is going on? Yeah. But at least, I'll tell you this, at least Danny McBride's acknowledging and saying, well, yeah, that's a fair criticism. So I kind of respect him for that. But it's come and gone, and I can't wait till somebody else comes along and buys a new contract for the Halloween series. And I think they just have to reboot it again. Start over again. Just create a whole new mythos. It's just a guy killing teenagers, babysitting in Haddonfield. And then build it from there. Again, you'd have to do some different stuff with it, yeah. But you could do, by different stuff, it doesn't mean that you have to rewrite things. It's about the style of how you're shooting it and giving it a different feel and tone. That's what that would need. And don't go down that cult road. With the branding on the hands. Don't do that. No, not a big fan of that. Okay, so we were just talking about that writer's strike stuff. I think we can't get away from it, right? SAG-AFTRA members overwhelmingly approve strike authorization. So their contract is coming up. If the Screen Actors Guild people strike, then everything will get shut down. Everything will come to a complete stop. Despite the fact that the Directors Guild settled their contracts, the writer's strike is still going. But as I said yesterday, the writers... they're still using time as one of their jousting weapons, right? They're still using it as a mode of an attack to try to get, a little bit more pressure on the studio executives to acquiesce. Now, having SAG join them will definitely help, because if everything gets paused and stopped, halted, and they're sitting on their hands for months, everybody's losing money, and it comes down to money, right? So then they'll acquiesce and they'll give them what the writers and actors want. But this step here This is just the approval for strike authorization. This just means that if the Screen Actors Guild they don't like what is being put on the table, they got the right to strike. That's all it means. All the members would be supportive of a strike in that case. That's all that this means. So it's getting the groundwork is being put out there that be careful now. Let's keep to the negotiation room, and we cannot have that happen. I'm in the position where I think the writers would prefer it if SAG went on strike with them so that it would add strength to their position. But I'm not a fan of competing guilds and competing labor forces striking when one doesn't have to. And people look down on the Directors Guild for doing that yesterday. I don't think you should be pressured into doing the same thing just to be supportive of another union, right? If you're contract negotiations and you're going to get everything that you want, you shouldn't strike just to be supportive. That's the way I feel. Because if you're going to get what you want, then sign the contract, right? And this could just be puffery. This could be posturing. It'd be kind of like wagging their finger at them. Careful now, don't try to strong arm us. And that's what that is. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. It's posturing. Okay, Chris Schober says the alternate ending of Halloween Ends was Laurie and Michael were the first off in the house, and Halloween Ends, and Laurie would have taken a stab Michael in the face and then take off his mask. Burnett and Allison would have shot Corey, and Michael Myers is from the 1978 ledge of the house where Loomis shot him. Oh, okay. I'm just glad that the Blumhouse trilogy is over. I sort of like the first Blumhouse Halloween. But once it was brought to my attention, somebody did a really good essay, a video essay on it, about Old Man Michael. And how we shouldn't have seen like the back of his head and stuff like that. Because he really was Old Man Michael. And it's kind of like he lost some of his mystique. It was an interesting take. Oddly enough, guys, I think I prefer Rob Zombie's remake over the Blumhouse movie, which is really weird. But I find myself revisiting the Rob Zombie cut, and I prefer the cut where Michael dies at the end, instead of him coming back for the second one. Anyway, we almost done through all my scheduled headlines. Yes, we are. It's got a TV headline here for Law and Order. Law and Order heads to Canada with Criminal Intent spinoff set in Toronto. Oh, huh. Should I submit a audition tape for Criminal Minds Toronto? Criminal Intent? Or sorry, Law and Order Toronto, Criminal Intent? I can do that. I want to be like a bad guy. Maybe I'll be the bad guy that for one episode that they have in like the interrogation room. I'll be like, doing either my Joker or Riddler kind of take. Yeah. An elite squad of detectives who investigate high-profile crimes and corruption in Metro Toronto. Showcase original Canadian stories written and produced by Canadians. I'm going to have to take a deeper dive into this because it's possible that it could work. And you know what? Oddly enough, I might have an advantage. But I would have to build up a resume of acting. Maybe that's what I need to do. Because there are some improv houses around here where, they do like what's that game show called? Where it's not on anymore. That Drew Carey used to do, where you get like a little bit of a sketch, and then people will just like improvise around that idea. Maybe I could start going out and doing some of that just to get that acting muscle working again. It'd be fun, right? Could you imagine me as a detective or something? Or as I said, I would just like to be the 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 one-off villain that shows up in one episode and be kind of like, how dare you try to take me down, kind of thing. Argylast Viking says, "Do go for an audition. That would be amazing. I wish I lived in Canada. Everything gets filmed there." Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff gets filmed over there in Ireland too, man. Lots of stuff, right? I saw the headline and I grabbed it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to keep a mental note for that. Law and Order Toronto, criminal intent. Yeah. All right. Guys, that's all I got in the can. So remember, tomorrow we are watching Little Mermaid here. 10 o'clock in the morning. It's only in like an hour and a half or an hour, 20 minutes, right? But I'm going to do up my thumbnails for it. And I'm going to be like watching it with the perspective of being a little bit more critical on it. I'm going to be a little bit more looking at it and I'll be like, well, that wasn't like the live action. I'll be doing it sort of like that, which could maybe get annoying. So we'll have to pace ourselves at that kind of thing. Because, as I said, I really like the live action version. Okay, so let's go over and take a look at the old Twitter sphere. And I think that's pretty much going to be all I have for today. Oh, no, there was a trailer that dropped this morning too, right? Wasn't there a new trailer that dropped for something? Let me just refresh my YouTube page here and see if a trailer has dropped. I thought a new trailer dropped for something. Talk to Me trailer 2. Oh, Insidious Red Door has a new trailer. That's right. Insidious. And Talk to Me has a new trailer. All right. Let's go over to the film update, see what's going on. Oh, yeah, the Actors on Actors stuff is dropping on Variety now, right? Another wave of those. Those are good for like podcast stuff. It's good for podcast material to put on in the background, listening to these two actors banter back and forth. There is Katherine Heigl. I still think that she's stunning. If you cannot stand up for yourself in this industry, very few people will stand up for you. So you'd better learn how to, and better be okay with them not liking you for it. Is this what, baby blue or turquoise? Or no, that's not turquoise. What the heck is that color? It's like a washed out blue kind of thing. Yeah, she's going to be Katherine Heigl and Ellen Pompeo for Actors on Actors. Yeah, they put interesting stuff. As I said before, Katherine Heigl kind of ruined her career, bad-mouthing productions that she was in. Why the heck did that happen? God, something has been going on with, like, Chrome just did an update, and it's really messed things up. Like, I was just pressing the picture over button, and for some reason that went back in my history. And for some reason on YouTube now, I have my default set to like 1080p, but it's been shifting it down to 480p. And I can't account for it. It's like I'm constantly pushing it back up to 1080p. It's like, what the heck's going on? Ever since that bad Chrome update, I hate, guys, don't try to fix stuff that ain't broken, for crying out loud. That's what I do. Look, the software updates, the constant berating of updates. Well, what are you updating? And why are you changing it? I never understand it. Like if you're making it run faster, that's one thing. But okay, but why are you adding a whole bunch of other stuff? It doesn't make sense to me. Apple TV Plus docu-series. Okay, I don't know anything about that. Elle Fanning for the round table. Oh yeah, she's talking about some sexism there. That's awful. But I'm an Elle Fanning fan, so maybe we'll have to watch that. Lionel Messi docu-series for Apple TV Plus. Yeah, I'm thinking about migrating off Chrome, man. Uh, I don't know what I'm going to go to. Maybe Firefox, because I can't handle this, and it's just getting so sluggish. And because they integrated something where if you're not on one tab, it tries to slow down everything on the one page to try to conserve your computer energy. It's like, get out of here with that. Why did I don't need a page to reboot when I click on the tab. I just want everything going properly, like it was before. Ah, the lipstick demon face, the Darth Maul villain, returns in Insidious the Red Door. Is it the same actor? Probably. Yeah, see, once you see him, he's not that scary. But they used him in such a way in the first Insidious, like with the flashing behind him and stuff like that, showing up in places that was creepy. Like that jump scare still works if you just watch that scene, the way that it's set up. And that's James Wan, right? That's the mastery of James Wan. But when you take a look at him, he's not that scary. Deborah Snyder says Rebel Moon is split into two cuts. Yeah, we know that. As a first look at Rebel Moon, we got a... What the heck is this? Is that Sophia Botella there? That's the reason why I'm watching this. She recruits a bunch of mercenaries throughout the galaxy to fight in some kind of tournament. It's like shades of Mortal Kombat, sort of. But with Zack Snyder. First look at Rebel Moon. Yeah, well, hey, we just saw that one. Charlie Hunnam? Or is it? Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. Don't know who that is. Obviously very lean. Is that one of the bad guys? Oh, okay. There's Sophia Botella. Yeah, that's who I want to see with Jaimin Hansu. Wow, Jaimin Hansu still got some big shoulders, huh? Got some big triceps. Apparently, guys, that's the number one thing to do. If you want your arms to look big, you got to have big triceps. Before biceps. Triceps will make your arm look bigger. Yeah, I need to start training my triceps a little bit more. But yeah, Sophia Patel is right there. That's the one I want to see. I like her. I like her work quite a bit. I liked her in The Mummy with Tom Cruise. A lot of combat, a lot of fighting in this. So yeah, I don't suspect when they said explicit for adults, it's going to be a lot more bloody. It's going to be a lot more F bombs. It's not going to be like you're not going to see a scene of one of these characters like stripping down, walking around in the buff, like that kind of nudity. Ed Skrein, he's one of the bad guys, right? Probably. You know, he's played bad guys before, like in Deadpool and Alita, Battle Angel, Hollywood Reporter, Red Door. All right. Talk to Me isn't got. Talk to Me is the one I want to see because on Boogeyman they did play the trailer for Talk to Me, and I'll admit that the trailer for Talk to Me played better on the big screen than it did on the small screen. It got me interested with the hand that you make wishes. It's like the monkey's paw. Talk to Me, right? Instead of a monkey's paw, it's a hand that grants wishes, and it's wishes that go awry. Like, oh, I want to be rich and famous. Okay, but you're rich and famous for being like a serial murderer kind of thing, and they put twists on it, right? Chris Hemsworth says shooting George Miller's upcoming Furiosa with Anya Taylor-Joy was by far the best experience of his entire career. Well, that's a lot of praise. The prequel took 5 months to film and will be released May 2024. I'm looking forward to Furiosa for sure. Because Mad Max Fury Road was one of my favorite movies of that year. In fact, I think it was my favorite. seeing what Anya Taylor-Joy can do with the Furiosa character. Really looking forward to that. And Hemsworth playing the bad guy, Dr. Demento. I think that's his name, Dr. Dementa or Demento, something like that. Haley Steinfeld has now grossed $2 billion. What? Oh, her movies have grossed over $2 billion? If they make a live-action Spider-Woman movie with her, Haley Steinfeld, I'll be on board for that. She talked about that, right? Because there's talks about a new Spider-Woman movie coming even before the live-action Miles Morales movie. We're going to get a Spider-Woman movie. And if she's in that, I'll be on board for that because I am a big Haley Steinfeld fan. Huge Haley Steinfeld fan. I love Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a good Transformers movie. Hemsworth on Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino's criticism of the Marvel movies. Quote, "That's super depressing when I hear that. There goes two of my favorite heroes I won't work with. I guess they're not a fan of me." Oh, so he took it personally. He clarifies they are still my heroes. I would leap to work with them. Okay. Yeah, Scorsese has come out and said that the Marvel MCU has just ruined the theatrical experience and stuff like that. And Tarantino looks down his nose at them as well, which is really weird for Tarantino to look down at comic book movies because he likes that old school style pulp storytelling. I'm really shocked that Tarantino does, but whatever. All right, lots of Hemsworth. We're going to see Hemsworth in 10 days, guys. 10 days, not this Friday, but next Friday we're going to be watching Extraction 2 here on the channel Mirror Domains. And I'm looking forward to that. Lots of action. Okay, Brave New World. Yeah, we got that. New trailer for Bottom. So that's where we ended yesterday. What the heck is this? Emma Stone on attending Taylor Swift's Eras tour. I've known her since we were 17 and 18. She blows my mind. I mean, the amount of sheer stamina to do 3.5 hours to perform 44 songs. I'm still dubious she performs all 44 songs. I mean, the human voice can only take so much. And to maintain the extreme energy of the audience, I've never seen anything like that. Well, yeah, to get up there and dance. I hear the Eras tour was like breathtaking. Awesome to watch. And for 3 hours, she puts like her body on the line for that, right? For like most rock concerts, 2 hours at the most. Like I was really shocked that Korn played for 1.5 hours. I was like, how the heck is he singing that for 90 minutes? Taylor goes for 3 hours. Some of them, okay, yeah. Some of the songs are just her talking in her very quiet talking voice. Okay, so maybe that preserves some of it. But other times she's up walking, dancing around and stuff like that. I know it's not supposed to hurt, but I mean, 3 hours of using your voice like that, there's got to be breaks in it or something. I know it's not continuous 3 hour singing, but yeah. Fault in Our Stars was 9 years ago. All right. Let's end off with that, guys. That's pretty much all I got in the can for today. I'll watch those new trailers, see if they're worth putting up a trailer reaction to or not. If not, hit that thumbs up button, guys. Subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for the live action. Well, not the live action. The animated version of The Little Mermaid. And we'll put it through the scrutiny. Does it compare to the live action? And no movie news tomorrow. We'll come back with movie news on Thursday. Okay? So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. Enjoy the rest of your day.